Nonetheless, to keep the credentials first, I have been teaching since second year of my college to different level of students, starting with teaching Hindi in Kerala to a LKG student. That was my first student. Basically, I'm from Jaipur. I have written uh, 5 prelims, and in initial two, that is in 2020 and 2021, I was not able to clear prelims. After that, I have cleared 3 prelims, wrote 3 mains, cleared 3 mains, and gave 3 interviews. Currently, I am doing my training as a IRS officer. Last few 3 4 uh, months are remaining. In April, I will be posted. Income tax, IRS income tax. That is the regarding the credentials. You have to first establish the authority and the credibility of the teacher. As I have been instructed by the director, sir, we have to keep the session interactive. I don't have to give you lectures on there are 3 phases in UPSC exam, prelims, mains, and all that. And if I start doing that, your head will go pillal ramiru. Eh? you, you, you have to. You are all senior now, upgraded yourself. So let's start with the upgraded versions. How do you want me to go? Let's take a bunch of questions in one go, and then we can usually, uh, or should I start with prelims? There, these are the things in prelims. This is what I did, and this is how you can do something like that. It's all depends on you. It depends on the class how teacher teaches. Nothing. Nahin? So I will start with something. I hate writing. Why? I do lots of spelling mistakes. So in prelims, as you are aware, that there are 2 papers, GS1 paper, and then there is CSAT paper. In CSAT paper, how many of you are afraid of CSAT paper? Scared. Like you might, right. Are you from engineering background? Yes. So engineers should not be overconfident of this paper, about this paper anyways. Let me tell you so that you hear me very, very carefully. Yes. So CSAT we will discuss in some detail. There are few things that I have found out because maths, I am first graduate in my family. So I had no idea what to do after clearing 10th or 12th. So I did engineering as all of us do. But after till 10th, I had some interest in 10th, this maths, sine theta, cos theta, something like that. But then in 11th, maths is entirely different from what we study till 10th, right? I had no idea about it. Where from this integration and what differentiation, right? All these things comes. So my life was spoiled after that. Nonetheless, I ended up doing marine engineering from Kerala. That was good. So am also not very good in maths, but still I can proudly say in all my 5 attempts, including the first 2 when I was not able to clear prelims, I have cleared CSAT paper. So we'll see how we can go about that. And regarding the GS1 paper, there are some fundas of my own that I can give you, but eventually it will work individually how you see things. Give me rough idea. Are you done with your syllabus? No? Half of it is done. By December or January, they will be finishing it. Right. Then you will be appearing an exam in May. When is it? May 24th. So, May 24th, you have exam this year. And have you appeared for any of the previous exams? Any one of you? No? You have given. How many attempts? 1 attempt you have given. Abhi you also gave, na? So raise the hand. 2. Then, do you have regular test papers here at the institute? There is a test series that is going on. Do you guys write that test series? Don't make nonsense out of me. Nobody writes institutes ka test series. Do you? I will check your. You must be having an app, na, to track it. How many papers you have written and all that. Let's see. Let's see. I will check it after the class. Who all have written? Again, you have written. You have written. You seems very sincere. You would write that, and you have written. Let's see. So we are almost at the this entire class is at the same level of preparation. Regarding prelims paper 1, please be very mindful of two important facts. That you do not have to do 100 questions, number 1. And number 2 is you can't know everything, right? That you must have heard everywhere, but executing it, having confidence of leaving questions, trust me, not the confidence of doing them, but confidence of leaving them. Can I leave this question? Is it like, will I be left behind? All that confidence is required to clear prelims, because most of the people do not come in the cutoff, because not that they have done the less correct questions, but they have marked more wrong answers. So that negatives we have to reduce, focus on that, because every mark matters. Second prelims, I missed cutoff by 1 mark, not one question, 1 mark. Pains me still. This one entire year was spoiled because of that. And questions like very, very basic questions, we'll see through our session. Second part that we will be dealing with is the current affairs versus static conundrum that we often go in. How much time we have to focus on current affairs and how much time we have to give to static part of it. And third is basically the newspapers versus PT 365, and all these things are there in the markets. How do we go about that? I think that would be the mota moti how the session would go. I would love the questions that you guys would ask, because I haven't prepared anything. So more the questions, more lecture I can give. Right. Regarding first thing, how many questions to be attempted is I can only tell what I did, right? Not how you will do. You have to do that while practicing the papers here in the institute. That is a must. You must write prelims papers now on. It is a apt time that you start doing it if you haven't already. Here, one very, very important thing is, don't write these sectional papers. If you were writing sectional papers, that time is over. Or you can write them till December, let's say. Because what happens is, if you're writing those sectional papers, if I ask you to prepare 100 questions out of Constitution, and if I ask you to prepare 10 questions, or let's say 5 questions out of Constitution, which question in both the out of both the cases, which will have better quality of questions? 5 questions out of the Constitution. That is what I have been trying to convey to the students in last 3 years of my teaching career in UPSC, but they still don't understand this. When you are preparing, when your classes of Indian polity were going on, you must have written sectional papers. That is it. You are done with that. Enough. Now, if you go and write in December, if you are writing sectional papers, they will ask something, something, and something. When we were preparing for interview, and when I started teaching, most of my friends who gave interview, appeared for interviews and all, they were making questions for institutes, right? Who prepares these questions? People who have written mains or qualified for interview and all these people. So they were making questions for these institutes, and then what happens is, they were given targets that this is the topic, make 15 questions out of it. So what would they do? Something here and there, this option in one question, those things are in option, in another question that things are in the heading, then some in one they are keeping that in match the following and something like that. So quality wise, it is adding nothing to your preparation. When you were studying that subject, then it is done. So now on, it is high time, at least from January onwards, you start giving full length papers. Why full length papers? Because the structure of paper is as such that there will be only 1 question, 2 questions, 3 questions from a topic, and they will be quality questions. When I'm saying quality questions, please don't misunderstand it as hard questions. That is general perception that people has also. Quality, it is a very tough question. No. Quality questions means whatever they would ask would have a meaning to it. They won't ask random questions. So in that full length, they might even a simple question, a very very simple question as what is state. Who all have PSIR as optional? Or you will decide after prelims? That is good thing to do. No, nobody is, you are not done with your optional yet? Nobody from PSIR? Okay. I used to teach polity, Indian polity and IR. That's why my most of the examples from will be from that. So what is state? Have you seen previous year questions? Have you, there must be a book, eh? My ex roommate, he used to carry these books. Whatever teacher would say in the class, he will have that book. He will purchase that book, and he might disobey the teacher, but if C is saying that, and if C has that book, he will also have that book. He won't read it, but he will still have that. Why? Someday C might forget her book, so he will the book will anyway come handy. uh, so where were we? Sorry for drifting. Yes, so there it is, a actual previous prelims question in 2021. This question was asked, what is state? Why I remember this question is because I am from PSIR, I teach Indian polity, and I marked it wrong and I missed cut off by 1 mark. What is a state? Anyone? I told you this will be very very interactive session. If I'm making a nonsense out of me here, making all the uh, what poor jokes, then you guys should also open up. Just this is just 1 hour or 1.5 hour meetup between us. We won't, maybe we won't even see each other. Just again, just ask your queries, just answer whatever is there in your mind. Keep more of it, consider it as a counseling session rather than a academic session. Because what might be stopping you here from answering is, uh, how do I put it? Your image. You might say something wrong. What the other person might think about you. You might say something foolish and all that. You might uh, be. You might lose your repute and all. That is what most of us are afraid of. I never spoke in classes myself. To this also I have an answer. Whenever you feel like this, whenever, that what will happen to your image, what will happen to your repute and all, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask a question to yourself. Do you have any respect? What respect does a student have in society or among friends? Nothing. So what are you afraid of? Just ask, just engage whatever questions you have. Now answer. What is state? See, that is the answer there. But UPSC won't ask it like this. If you see, UPSC, if they would have asked it like this, it is there on the first page notes of my PSI notes. That state is the one which has population, territory, government, and sovereignty. But they asked it differently. They say a politically organized group of people, option 1, a politically organized group of people living in a fixed territory having control over internal affairs. Similar was option number B, a politically organized group of people where the government is responsible for the well-being of people. Let's forget C and D. Which of these looks better? Why first? A politically organized group of people whose government is responsible towards well-being of people. That is what a state is, isn't it? That is the definition because of which we call Pakistan or Nigeria and all these countries as failed states. because they are not taking care of the people, well-being of the people. That's why we call them failed states. Na? So, likewise, I overthink. Because I was from PSI theories, lots of theories I have studied about state and good state and what is not a state and all that. Simple answer was number one. What was a politically organized group of people? What does it mean? That there is a population and there is a government. Politically organized group of people means there is a government. Living in a fixed territory means the fixed territory is there, and having control over internal affairs means sovereignty. That is how UPSC asks. Now, this is a quality question, but it is not a difficult question. You understand the difference? In 2021 itself, they asked a question. Just think about it. I am so ashamed of admitting all these mistakes that I made in that paper. Why? Are you done with economy? So, why RBI is considered as lender of last resort? Is it there? Is this line there in your notes? RBI is considered as lender of last resort. Why? That is prelims question 2021. Why is it lender of last resort? Option number one. Because it lends to banks as a last resort. Option number two. Because it lends to Government of India as a last resort. When nobody is lending to Government of India, it lends to Government of India. Number three, both. Number four, none. Answer. Huh? So if I marked it wrong, there must be some catch. Na? If it was so easy, when you have studied economy, why RBI is considered as lender of last resort? Yes, ma'am. Option number B, because it lends to the government when nobody has. What do you understand by lender of last resort? How many of you watch these Instagram reels? The other day I was doing it while shaving also. I don't become holier than. Do you watch Instagram reels? So nowadays there is this trend going on. Just give me a smile if you have seen those kind of. If she won't, he will. No? Oh my god. Two best friends dancing together. If she won't dance, he will dance with me. No? So that is what last resort is. If you don't get what you want, then there has to be something, someone as a last resort who will give what you are looking for. That is lender of last resort. Why RBI is lender of last resort? According to the question says, because if nobody lends it to the banks also want money, na? If nobody gives money to the banks, RBI will give them. Number B, if nobody gives money to the government, RBI will give them. Number C is both, and number D is none. I marked obviously both. That, see, to banks also it lends. You forgot those all repo rates, all these things. Huh? I have forgotten. Huh? So, does RBI give money to banks to lend? That was the answer. RBI does not act as lender of last resort for Government of India. Does it act as lender of last resort? If it was lender of last resort, why would Indian government be dealing with this Indian golds being sent to Japan and England and all that? RBI in Indian economy theoretically has primary responsibility towards governing the banks in India. That's it. Not supporting Government of India. That's why there was this tussle between Government of India and RBI in 2016 and so during demonetization. If you remember, this was the question in Supreme Court also asked that can RBI demonetize And if RBI can the government of India also demonetize? Who announced demonetization? Government of India. So, but the monetary policy, is it the affair of RBI? Is it a function of RBI? Supreme Court disagreed. Supreme Court said running the economy and keeping the money in flow is the function of RBI. Managing the micro management of banks and all is the function of RBI. But the economy and the policy decision making is of Government of India. You won't get it. Have you heard of something known as MPC, Monetary Policy Committee? Why that committee has RBI representatives? There was this commission who recommended that to increase or decrease these repo rates and all, there should be a proper monetary committee. And in that they said that there should be 3 members from RBI and 6-member committee is asked for. Now currently it is 5-member committee. Earlier it was asked to have 5-member committee, that 3 from RBI and 2 from Government of India. Rather than that, government has made it a 6-member committee, that 3 from government and 3 from RBI, and the RBI governor will have a veto. So what that represents is both are trying to balance the economy, but one sees the policy of it, other one sees the actual printing of the notes and circulation and all that. We are drifting there, but what I am trying to convey here is such easy questions will be there, but they will be conceptual. Right to property is a fundamental right. Is it a legal right? And is it a constitutional right? Is there any difference between legal right and constitutional right then? What difference is it? These are pure concepts. Nothing doing. Pure concepts. What is a statutory right? Statutory right. Whatever, however you pronounce it. Can any of you give me example of statutory right? RTI Act. RTI Act is a, how does it? Which legislation? Which legislation? No, RTI Act of 2006. Right, 2002. Right. So it is RTI Act of 2006 basically. Why? Because in 2002 our beloved government that time brought Freedom of Information Act, but it was never implemented. So next government scrapped it and brought a new bill itself. Statute. So since we are discussing some concepts, let me throw some concepts to you. See, there is a constitution. Any right which is mentioned in the constitution is constitutional right. However, within the constitution itself, there is a part 3 of the constitution. If that right is mentioned in constitution, and if that right is mentioned in part 3 of the constitution, then it will become fundamental right. So can I say all the fundamental rights? This is an actual prelims question. Can I say all the fundamental rights are constitutional? But can I say all the constitutional rights are fundamental rights? Simple, right? Then comes a statutory provisions. These are given to us by parliament or legislature. These have been given by constituent assembly. These are given by legislature. So these are known as statutory rights. All these are legally enforceable or not? All the constitutional rights are legally enforceable. All the fundamental rights are legally enforceable. What do you mean by legally enforceable? If somebody violates it, you can go to court. That is what legally enforceable means. So if there is a parliamentary act, if that gives you a right, and if that right is violated, can you still go to the court? Can't you? Yes, you can go. So all these are what? Legal rights. Can there be rights beyond legal rights? That means there are rights, but if they are violated, you can't go to court. Can there be such a right? Natural rights, or there are three natural rights that way, but if you see it, natural rights is the right answer, but to keep it simple, can I say customary rights? Customary rights, the rights that society gives me. Society, now there is a overlap. For example, society gives me a right that let's say when it is raining, we in the society have decided that everybody will go and celebrate a function, a festival. But society decided that this year we won't be celebrating it. Can you go to court for legal enforcement of this? That we as a village for so many years were celebrating Pongal, let's say, but this time our elders or the society have decided that we won't be celebrating Pongal this year. You can go to court. You can go in different pretexts. Why? That you have individual rights under part 3 of the constitution. You have right to a life. Right to life also means right to a good life. And good life means celebrating festivals. You can do that. But strictly speaking, can the society take away this right without court's intervention? They can do. They are non-legal. They are not legally enforceable rights. Right? For example, I come from a tribal or a community, let's say, where there is no such law made by parliament, or no such act of the constitution or amendment to the constitution, but society has allowed me to have 7 wives. Just think it that way. Society has given me right to have 7 wives, but society says you can't have them, or somebody objects. Can I go to court and say that I had this customary right? Court will say what? Is it a statutory right? That means, is it a Hindu marriage law? Is it a Christian marriage act? Or is it a Muslim personal law? If they are so, then they will become this. Is it giving you, do you have right to marry as a fundamental right? No, you don't have right to marry as a fundamental right. If I remember correctly, have you studied Navtej Singh Johar case? What is it? Same-sex marriages. Not same-sex marriages, but homosexual, decriminalization of homosexuality. So in that, D.Y. Chandrachud led bench said that we have right to marry a person of one's choice. And this is prelims question. This is prelims question. Do we have a fundamental right to marry a person of our choice? Yes, we have. But no more. Why no more? It was there till we wrote prelims in 2022. But now we don't have right to marry as a fundamental right. Why? Which case removed it? Now, if you are preparing for UPSC and if you are not aware of these things, that there was a fundamental right given by the interpretation of Honorable Supreme Court of India and it has been taken away. You guys are preparing for UPSC for last 1 year. You have no idea when that right was taken away. Some case law. This last year, Supreme Court has given a verdict on homosexual marriages, na? If you remember, homosexual marriages, that you can live together, but you cannot marry. That is when Supreme Court took it back. That you can live together, but allowing you as a fundamental right to marry cannot be given by court. Why? Because marriage is a societal function. Marriage is a social institution. Why do we call 3,000 people to have food in our marriages? Huh? So that society gives a sanctity to this, that you are a husband and wife. So since it is a societal institution, the sanctity to it should come from society. And when they are saying society, that means we the people of India, and that means the Parliament of India. That means Supreme Court is saying that we, the institution of judiciary, cannot give you right to marry, fundamental right to marry. That Parliament can give. We were earlier wrong when we said that we have fundamental right to marry a person of our choice. Do you get this? Chalo, this will keep going on like this. So when I am saying that concepts, these are the concepts. Now you might be feeling that, oh my God, we are not at all prepared for the exam. Yes, you are not. But then, no lovey-dovey, good things here. You are not prepared for the exam, but then you always know more than what you are speaking now. You are just not confident about it. So practice those papers and then you will see the other side of it. So do you have any questions from this, the first topic, and that was the key conceptual studies, or we can switch to that static versus current affairs wala section? Nothing? No questions? Nothing? So second doubt that people generally have is regarding current affairs and static questions. So if we go by the prelims structure, in prelims we will be having something like this, that out of 100 questions, 75 will be from static and 25 will be purely current affairs, and 20-25 will be completely current affairs. And then out of these 75 also there will be inferences of current affairs. For example, right to marry, they can ask again that you did it there. All the books will say that it is right to marry is a fundamental right, if at all you study. But then if you see it on the basis of current affairs, it would say it is not. And that's how UPSC would ask you questions. So out of these 75 questions also, these inferences from current affairs will be drawn. Now, how much emphasis we should put on these? That is what we are going to discuss. This is the most important part about this session, this current affairs and static wala nonsense that people generally have in their head. So nonsense is my keyword. UPSC exam, you have, na? That I speak out of no ill will against anyone, so just ignore it. In this, you have to see that in prelims 2020, what I did was I started preparation in May 2020, and that year, because of the COVID, it was in October. This prelims was shifted to October because of COVID. Started preparation in May 2020, 26th May, joined Vision IAS Jaipur. Nonetheless, form I filled in January itself because I knew I won't be able to have 6 attempts. I am elder son and I am leaving my current job and preparing for UPSC. So anyway, I will have to return to whatever I am doing. In this, when I came back home and matched it with the answer key, I was getting some marks, let's say. And that marks was around 70. Actually, I got 68 marks later in the mark sheet, but 70 marks. Just I was so amazed. Studied nothing. See, my friends are struggling to score 35 marks still. And I was in the first attempt, 4 months of preparation, scored this much. I was overwhelmed by this. And I thought, what more improvement I can do? How can I cross that 75, 85 mark? So what I did was, I came out with a solution that I have maximized the subjects I know. For example, polity, economy, geography. I am a marine engineer, so I had geography, I had rough idea already. Uh, then polity and economy were going good. So I thought ki this is done. Now what else can I do? I saw a green light. There were 25 questions of current affairs which were simply laying there. I had no idea about, because I just started preparation. In past few months or years, what has happened, I had no idea. So I thought I will complete these 25 questions, because out of these 25, even if I get 10 correct, 10 into 2 nahi, 2.5, because I did negative also na. So I will be scoring somewhere around 100 marks and I will clear prelims. So what I did was, I got a friend of mine in the PG and I started studying everything under the sky. And that is including, because that year, if you remember, there was a unfortunate incident in Kerala where a elephant ate a pineapple which was filled of barud, and it blasted in her womb, and she was pregnant that time. So, and she died, and the baby elephant also died. That maybe that was the reason UPSC in 2020 prelims asked a question: what is the gestation period of elephant? That means how many months the baby is in the womb of elephant before it is delivered. So I thought this is the way to go for current affairs. I started, even if I put it in Hindi, Barasinga ke kitne sing hote, that also I started by hearting. Huh? You know what is Barasinga? What is it? Huh? This English translation I can also do. Tell me the name. Huh? Antelope. Antelope. Something. That has 12 horns, na? That only. So I was like, why do we call it as Barasinga? There must be 12 horns. But I found no 12 horns in any picture. There are not 12 horns, I think. This, we call them Barasinga. So I started remembering everything, every national park, everything. We will have 3 hours of session in the evening on the rooftop where we will be asking each other random current affairs questions. And what happened in 2021 prelims is, this time I was occasionally prepared, and I have covered my these 25 questions also. So I scored 83.5 marks. Somewhere around 84 point something was the cutoff. And this is the prelims that I don't know what I did here, but all those questions which you just wake me up at 2 a.m. in the night and ask me what is the answer to this, I would say, I would answer correctly. I marked all of those answers wrong here. What is the definition of a state? RBI lender of last resort, fundamental right to property, and what all. There were very, very basic questions also. Now I started forgetting what are inferior goods. Economy, what are inferior goods? What? No, answer. No. They are not inferior. They are FMCG, fast consumer goods. What are inferior goods? Yes. If your income increases, you won't buy them. So generally, demand is directly proportional to income, isn't it? If your income grows, your demand will grow. But inferior goods are those which do not follow this principle of demand and supply. That is, if your income grows, the consumption of those goods will decrease. They are inferior goods. For example, Telangana. Do you know what is pawa? Oh, this homemade liquor. Homemade liquor. What does it cost here in Telangana? 50 rupees, 60 rupees. Arey, you must have seen people consuming that in villages and all. Ha. So that is given good. If income of that person rises, will he still buy that? Or he will go to higher brand, right? Better brand. That is inferior good. I marked it wrong. This was the option that these are the goods where if income increases, the demand will decrease. I marked it wrong. ऐसे type का. So what happened here is, out of these 25 questions, I don't know whether any substantial gain was there or not, but the substantial share of static, basic questions that declined. And eventually I was not able to clear prelims. Right thing was that I was able to assess this, that this is where I have gone wrong. And this is my advice to you now on for the last few months before your prelims. Focus on static. Why? Let me give you my arguments to this. There are 75 questions of this and 25 questions of current affair. I am putting them crudely. Out of these 25 questions, you will be able to do 10 questions. You study everything under the sky. Trust me on this. Anything, everything, you do 5 PT 365s and everything, you will still won't be able to do more than 11. This is the ballpark figure. This is the maximization there. Because there will always be those questions from current affairs which you will have no idea from where they are asking these. Those type of questions where you have no idea where they are asking from comes from current affairs. Those are these questions, 10, 15 questions where no matter how much you study current affairs, there will still be those areas from where they will ask these questions, right? So that is the maximization that you can do here, 10, 12 questions. But here in static, very, very easy, because in 2023, 24, 25, all three I cleared prelims and with simple formula, and that is of 3 subjects. You choose your best 3 subject, be thorough with the static part of it, and you are done with the subject, done with prelims. Clearly, prelims is the easiest task. Why? Answer is right there in front of you. But you have to choose the right answer. What I'm talking about is, let's say, polity. Generally, polity will have 15 questions, 15 to 20, let's say polity and governance, 15. Economy will have roughly around 15 to 20 questions again. And you can choose any other subject. I was choosing the geography part. I was not geography, I was choosing not the core geography, because core geography they asked only 1-2 questions only. Last year they asked 6 questions. That is altogether different. UPSC is very unpredictable in that way. But let's say 1-2 questions from that. But when I'm saying geography, I mean to say this word mapping and all those part. What is happening in Nigeria? What is Burkina Faso? What is it? Where is Burkina Faso? Is it a country? African country, right? Which are the neighboring countries? The question is like, why Burkina Faso was in news? 4 options are there. Then there was one more question. The following countries, Somalia and 3 countries they gave, Yemen, Somalia, and let's say, they were in news, constantly in news last year because of, there were 4 reasons: military coup, uh, hunger, this thing. What do we say when people die of hunger? Famine. Yeah. So I am forgetting keywords now. So those kind of options were there. Those I would keep at geography and the miscellaneous type of questions. That I would say around 20 questions would be there. See how many questions are there. These I am saying conservative estimate. 15 of economy, and this is 50 questions. Just think about it. In 2023 prelims, the first prelims I cleared, cutoff was 75 marks, not questions. 75 marks means 38 questions correct. My goodness. See? And here comes the one more advice, and that is, how many of you are toppers of your schools? Oh, please don't be humble. How many? School toppers, school toppers, right? That please be very, very careful about these things, because what happens is, we have certain habits that we build on. For example, I have a habit of being an engineer. I have a habit of submitting the assignments at the last moment. Not only submitting, making them last moment. I know I will be returning to academy on Monday, and Tuesday I have to submit my dissertation for IRS, and I have prepared nothing so far. But I will still be able to do. That is the habit that I have got into. Here, when we are talking about uh, UPSC prelims, you, throughout your life, such a struggle it is. You have been scoring 99 plus, 98. Have you ever tasted what 91 sounds like? Tastes like? What 76 tastes like? Never, na? Here, if you score 49% marks, you will top UPSC. In mains and interview, if you get 49, 50% marks, you will be topper of UPSC. That is where the school toppers and college toppers have real difficulty in. Why they have this thing is because they are under the impression that more you study, more marks you will get. That is not how UPSC preparation functions. You have to strategize. Somebody pronounce it for me, please. That you have to do, strategize. And after doing that, you have to do execution of that. So get any of your favorite 3 subjects and focus on the static part of it. Out of these 50 questions, just think of it. If I give you 20 questions of polity, how many questions will you be able to mark correct today? B. 10. Make them 15. That's it. You have to study nothing beyond this to clear prelims. If I give you 20 questions of economy, how many can you mark correct? Because if economy is there, it is Indian economy, not economics. So there will be very, very basic questions. Inferior goods, given goods, demand and supply, this the various commissions, the finance commissions and all that, planning commission reports, but prelims they don't ask those. Then these recommendations, RBI's role, monetary policy committee decisions, sovereign gold bonds, trade. This, what do we say that term? What is the term? Balance of payment. All these questions, very, very basic questions, very simple. They will say, if dollar is rising against rupee, what effect will it have on Indian trade? Just think about it. This is purely conceptual question. What is current affairs in it? But dollar is rising against Indian rupee, so that way it is current affairs oriented. But it is a conceptual question. If dollar is rising, that means for $1 of goods, we will have to pay more Indian rupee. So what happens then? Indian imports, US imports to India becomes, and we are a import dependent economy so far. Every growing economy is import dependent on most of the critical minerals and all these things. Not only that, if I have to pay a expert who is sitting in USA, is charging $500 to me, and equivalent to that I was earlier paying him 50,000 rupees, let's say. Now the exchange rate has changed, dollar has risen against Indian rupee, so in Indian rupees I will have to pay more to get it to $500. So my service that I am getting expertise from there also becomes costly. So if my raw material and my services that I am getting from there becomes costly, what will happen to my end product that I am making, manufacturing? What are factors of production? Land, labor, and capital, and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, because of the expertise has increased, it has become costlier, and of course raw materials or the input that I have put into the industry has increased, the cost has increased, so my end product will be expensive. My end product is expensive, who will buy my product? You see that? That is how they ask questions in prelims economy. So instead of just go home today and look at those questions of economy in last 10 years, you will realize that they are as fundamental as they can get. This year they asked a question from IRS. If I remember correctly, there was some question circulating in the groups. Some, not IRS, but income tax, some question they asked this year. Did they? ED. ED is also IRS. We only go to deputation there. No, but there was a proper question from income tax only. Anyways, so likewise, you have to get your those three subjects and focus on them. Score 80%, 75% efficiency in those, and you will be able to, let's say out of these 50 questions, you will be able to do 35 or so. Baki, you play anything with rest 50. You study history also, you study every subject that is there, but keep the core intact. If you are keeping the core intact, you will always be reaching that 70 marks. 70 marks will be assured. Then beyond 70 marks, you will be studying other 50 questions material now that will be helping you for that. But don't fall for this nonsense. That is very, very unpredictable. You study everything, but still you won't be getting that in current affairs. That is a thing there. We are almost 1 hour is done. I will be keeping it here only, but you can ask questions. I'm not leaving the session, so don't have that impression that you can go. No, ask questions. Can I ask? This is like last half an hour we will have specific doubts, because in general I have told you whatever I can. Practice these, but I humbly submit to you that these won't come to you unless you practice them here with the test papers.
So previously you told about current affair issues in Kerala about elephant.
Yes.
They asked a question about the pregnancy time of elephant.
Elephant.
How is that even relevant for a civil servant to know about the pregnancy time? Why is UPSC asking an aspirant in that case?
See, there are two ways to look at it. Number one is prelims is a knowledge test. So it's irrespective of whether it is relevant for UPSC or not, whether you have knowledge of something happening in your country, do you have knowledge about it? There were so many articles written on that particular incident. If you are not aware of what is happening in the country, how good civil servant can you be? You can only assume. That is one idea. Interview is not a knowledge test. There they don't care if you don't know. You simply say don't know. It's fine. This year, last year I said like 10 questions we don't know. I got good marks and highest marks ever in interview and got into IRS. And but the prelims is properly a knowledge test. Mains is also knowledge test. So they do what is happening around you, whether you are aware of that or not. Secondly, it is relevant for us. If such an incident has happened, why it has happened? To know that why, but we can't write that why here. We have to write that why in mains. But happening of that incident is important for prelims perspective. Why that thing happened was there is something known as man animal or human animal conflict. What is human animal conflict? Environment is a subject, right, for us. So it is there in prelims also. So environment and ecology both. So why a man animal conflict is happening? See, You are preparing for UPSC. You are the akka and bhaiyas, annas of those kids who will come to UPSC industry next year. You are giving these looks. Why men animal conflicts are there? Give me one reason. In UPSC mains, you will have to write 5 at least. Increasing encroachment into the areas where animals are there primarily. So if that is happening, there can be another reason, that is too much breeding of these animals. For example, leopards are breeding too much in India and particularly in Maharashtra. Therefore, Maharashtra government asked the central government to declare, to allow it to cull or kill. Culling and killing are different, but end effect is same, that is killing of the leopards. Similarly, when I was studying in Kerala, there this wild boar and nilgai, if you remember nilgai, what is nilgai, that became a vermin. So government of Kerala asked central government under the Wildlife Protection Act to declare these animals as vermin so that they can shoot them and kill them. So these conflicts, one is the increase in breeding and other one is we are encroaching into the areas of animals. So now if you are going to be administrator, you will be posted in ministries as well, where you will have to make policies of reducing this. Just think about it. Governments have to resign on such conflicts. Since I am undergoing training in Maharashtra, I'm aware that there was a huge protest against Maharashtra government recently because of that leopard killing 2 3 kids, men hunter something. So uh, if that is the thing, is minister will always look towards you to find the solution, and you should know what these things are, right? So if a elephant's gestation period is 36 months, let's say, or 18 months, you can't say that it is because of too much breeding. If some animal takes 18 months to produce a baby, and then there is an animal which takes uh, 3 months to produce a baby, breeding too much might not be the reason for that. You should know something like that. Matlab, if you are going to be a civil servant, you should know what is happening in your country. You will make policies, you will execute the policies as well. Like, anything? Good question. Ask. Ask. It's fine. I am completely free. I just have to go to Salarjung Museum today. Where is it? It won't come up. ऊपर नहीं उठेगा. Leave it. रहने दो. Ah, ask.
Sir, how
Yes.
we should prepare plan for UPSC mains?
Means you should be. That is what the people toppers give gyan is. You should be mains ready before appearing for prelims. So that time has gone now. If you were to ask when is the right time to start preparing for mains, it was yesterday. So if that is gone, let it be. You start from today at least. What being prepared for mains basically means, are you done with your optional? Because let's say out of nowhere you study very nicely for prelims and you clear prelims this year. What santosh will you give to yourself eh, for not being prepared for mains? That, oh, I focus too much on prelims. I will see what I can do about mains after clearing prelims. You can't see. That is how most of the Indians live life. We will see when it happens. And when it actually happens, they can't see. When it starts happening, you won't be able to see that pathetic life. You will consider yourself as blessed if you are able to clear prelims. 13 lakh people are writing prelims, and out of that, hardly 15,000 are clearing prelims. And out of those 15,000, hardly 2,500 are clearing mains. And out of 2,500, hardly 1,000 are clearing. And of that also, only the 300 odd are becoming IPS and IAS. So if you are, God is giving you that opportunity, apart from your hard work, along with your hard work to clear prelims, you should be in a position to clear mains also. And for that you have to be mains ready. How do you be mains ready? Here one is you should have done with your optional by now. If you have not done that, don't start. Huh? Do that after failing next prelims. You will have lots of time. Second is, it is a fact you will lot many of you will fail prelims. We all do. I just want you to be mentally ready for these things. If you are fighting such a big fight and trying to clear such a big exam, it is one of the toughest exams in the country with such competition. You should be mentally be prepared for this. Just come good out of it. Uh, if you are failing it, just look for the ways not to fail, and then you will do good. Here, apart from optional A, what is important is reading newspapers. That thing we did not touch upon earlier. Reading newspapers is sine qua non. It is, you can't dispense it. You will have to read newspapers. I don't encourage people to read monthly magazines. I was reading myself in my first first and second uh, prelims, but that did not help me. Why it did not help me was I was reading too much of current affairs but getting nothing out of it. Why? Because let's say something happened today. I am reading it on after 15th of next month. And that too not as an article or as a news. I am reading it as an academic paper with too much of information compiled on that. It doesn't stick to your brain. For that, what I started doing from 2022 mains prelims, as that helped me preparation of mains as well, as I started reading newspaper. I was reading Indian Express that time. Here the Indian Express version is not good. You should go with the Hindu. There, if anything important happens, listen to this very, very carefully. How do you find which thing is important for UPSC and which is not? No, no, no. I still don't know security in GS1 or GS3. This you are not going to write syllabus there. This also is a utter nonsense. There is no syllabus. You read what is relevant for a administrator to run the country. So I can be dependent for that on our friends. He will tell you this is this subject ra, this is that subject ra. That there is a subject and syllabus expert in our group. Every group has that. Be dependent on them. You focus on the content core. How does it matter if the security is in GS1 or GS3? There is something going on regarding security in the country these days. Coming from Telangana, you must know that. Now I am giving you a hint also. Naxalism. When I started preparing for UPSC, it was in 110 districts in India. Now it is less than 10 districts. And Home Minister has said that by March 2026, we will be done away with this. But then there is something else also happening under the security itself in India, and that is these terrorist attacks. And apart from that, there is one more thing, very, very important thing, and that is Gorkha land. Where is Gorkha land? That is geography I was talking about. These are miscellaneous questions. These you should know. Where is Gorkha land? It has been news throughout the year. Sikkim, below Sikkim. The topmost part of this chicken snake area of West Bengal. Siliguri corridor. That area of West Bengal basically. So they are fighting for having a separate state or separate country altogether. Everybody starts with a separate country, but then eventually will go some other way. So they have been fighting for that. And government of India has, just think about it, how big a news it is, and you guys are not at all aware of it because you are waiting for that monthly magazine to come next month's end. Government of India has appointed an interlocutor for Gorkha talks. What is interlocutor? A middleman. Is a famous IPS officer. He came for our session a few days back in the academy. And West Bengal government has opposed it. Day before yesterday, it was in the front page news of the Hindu how the West Bengal government is opposing it, and they are planning to go to Supreme Court that you appointed an interlocutor without consulting the state. Nonsense. Internal security is a union subject. Why do we have to consult state? Do you understand these? That is how questions will be asked in prelims. Question will come. Internal security is a state subject, union subject, concurrent subject. Then no. Your mind won't go to Ministry of Home Affairs there. No. Your mind will go to police. Police is a state subject, union subject, concurrent subject. But police is not responsible for internal security. Such a irony. That's why most of the police personals have danda instead of firearm. They are there to maintain law and order, not to ensure security per se. Internal security is the affair of Ministry of Home Affairs, and that's why we have CRPF and CISF. What is this? Central Armed Forces, Police Forces. That's why Ministry of Home Affairs maintains them. So this is going on in the country and you are not aware. So what I was saying was, this is, you don't have to go by the syllabus. You have to see what administrators should know and see these administrators, future administrators, do they know what is happening in the country? They don't, clearly. That won't help you. I'm putting it blunt because we both are of same age. Reading newspapers. This is, so here people asks me, how do we identify what is important for the exam? To which my answer is simple. You read the newspaper every day. If something is important for the exam, it will be repeated thrice in a week. Simple. One day it will come on front page, next day it will come on the explained page, and third day it will come in an editorial. That's it. That is important for you. If something doesn't, apart from that also there might be some information, but if nothing of if something is of national importance, will it not come twice, thrice, 4 times in a week? What is sir? That I thought was a tricky thing, and now you are awake. Special. Has it happened in the past, or is it the first time it is happening? Then why the political parties are crying now? Basically opposition parties. No, there are no elections in Rajasthan. There also they are opposing now. No, the political parties are not opposing, but the teachers are opposing. That we have to teach, and then we have to go and do SIR. So government said, don't teach, do SIR. Why? Because you are working under Election Commission of India. Government of India can't do anything about it. Do you have any? Are you done with polity? So if somebody is preparing, has been allocated job of preparing SIR, that means he is working under Election Commission of India. Can the Prime Minister of India transfer that person? No. Can anybody transfer that person? Can anybody remove him from the job of doing SIR apart from Election Commission? But if something is important, that will be repeated thrice. Simple. Full stop. That's it. So you read this today, you read it tomorrow, you read it after 2 days in the editorial. You don't have to even make notes. That is here. After 3 times reading the same thing, and that too in live, this thing, you might get some analysis somewhere. You might see that news again on the internet somewhere. So that is how you consolidate your knowledge. Read it real time. That does not mean read it now only on Instagram or Facebook. You can wait for next day. But don't wait for your monthly magazine to come next month. Don't. It is mixture of one page. What will you get out of it? It is as good as textbook. More. Newspaper is the thing for me. I have never read a textbook. 2 books I read was, one is Lakshmikant because all were reading. Everyone was reading. Second one was India's Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra. That I read as a novel. So apart from these 2 books, I swear by my profession, I have never read any textbook for UPSC preparation. Newspaper and these YouTube analysis and all, there is a newspaper, there is a YouTube channel, Cut the Print. There is a show by Sekhar Gupta, Cut the Clutter. He explains these tedious events very, very well. He will take one or two issues of the week and he will speak on them for, let's say, 25-30 minutes to give entire history and perspective why it is happening, how it is happening. That has helped me a lot in formation of ideas of my own. Done? Anything else?
Sir, according to you, what are the top 3 virtues or qualities that should be inculcated as a student to become a civil servant?
Top 3, na? I will have to. Okay, so first one, and first and foremost thing is, never make friends on the basis of their education level and their monetary standard. That is first virtue of a student. Keep students, keep friends who are good to you, who are good humans. That will help you in this UPSC journey. You might feel this answer very, very irrelevant, but trust me, this is a fight against society and against yourself. You are nibba nibbis. You know what nibba nibbis are? Just fresh chicken है ऐसा वो क्या बोलते चिकलेट्स out of the egg. Once you fail in one or two attempts and in the prelims and mains and all that, society, people, your friends will start treating you differently. And that is what I mean by making friends without seeing whether they are good in studies or whether they have good monetary background or not. That is first advice I can give you. Friendship is more important in this entire preparation. That does not mean you do only friendship. Second most important thing is being disciplined. Now that is very, very difficult task. It is very, very, very difficult task to be disciplined. What I mean to simplify for you is, you can be disciplined just by studying 8 hours a day, but you have to be disciplined. I used to go, never have I ever went to library or the study hall before 8 a.m. because I am a late riser, and never I have stayed in the study hall beyond 10 p.m. In this itself, entire preparation happened. But this has to be there. Just think of the breaks. Breaks were more than I was studying. First 8 to 10, I would, let's say, study. 10 again will go for tea. Half an hour would go with my friends. Then 12, fixed dot 12, because we were living in hostel, so no breakfast. Directly the lunch. So 12 we will go for lunch. 1 we will come back. 1 to 3 will be a dicey situation where you will be sleepy but you want to study kind of thing. So I will study as far as I can study, but then I will sleep for half an hour or so on the bench itself there in the study hall. And at 3, even in the hottest of days in Rajasthan, we will go for tea again at 3, pure. Then at 6 p.m. or so, we will again go for tea and a round in the area. Go to mark your territory, na? We are living here, we will go to that park. And then from let's say 6:30 to 10 is proper study, and 10 we will go have dinner and sleep. But this was a fixed routine, kind of like religiously following. Just think about it, from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. how many hours are there? Let's say I'm taking too many breaks now. According to you, you were laughing on that. Let's say cumulatively I took 4 hours of break, still I was studying every day 10 hours. You do that, you will realize what I mean. It is difficult. And that too when you feel that I am taking good enough breaks. Break after break. But keep yourself motivated, and never study after 2 p.m. or so on Sundays. Keep Sundays free, at least the last half. Just roam around, enjoy yourself, go with friends. Do whatever you want. We were having this was a constant practice. Sunday evening, pani puri. We will 4-5 of us will meet there. We will just chit chat for 3-4-5 hours. Doesn't matter. Suddh nonsense. No sense talking that day. So do that to keep yourself fresh on the Monday. Right? Then again Monday start with your daily routine of studies. I think that was your question, right? So that was second virtue. One is keeping good friends with you who can fight with you in this entire journey. It is the pariksha, it is the exam of not only you but the entire uh, friend circle and the family. Second is be disciplined, and third is last important one is be motivated. Now that motivation can't be given by ठुकरा के मेरा प्यार मेरा इंतकाम देखेगी. If you are such a person who thinks that she left me and I will become IPS now and I will get her back, somebody has abused or has had fought with your father and you want to show them a lesson by that kind of motivation will not, that will stay only till the time you get another one or she gets or whatever. What kind of motivation I am talking about here is intrinsic motivation. You should not be finding motivation in such sessions. It might be good for refreshing your thing and to strategize well. Now see, I have cleared prelims through English mains. But intrinsic motivation in the sense that you should have a larger purpose in mind why you want to be a civil servant. That you don't have to share with people, but there should be something burning here, a fire. Whatever fire it is, but it has to be there constantly. It should not be diminished by some other event that has happened in your life. Huh? Or if you are diagnosed with, let's say tomorrow, if somebody is diagnosed with something, they will be like, oh, I'm done with UPSC. Why do I have to clear? It's fine. You might have your reasons for that. But that event should not be able to, your brother's marriage, your cousin's marriage, or that marriage, this marriage, that should not be able to diminish your motivation and larger purpose. Why you want to be a civil servant? Just ask yourself. Because of the entries and exits, what entry I had? Nothing. I am looking like a nonsense, like a Kashmir, coming from Kashmir with, there is no entry and exits. They those that era is gone. One, because government is now very careful about this hero-panti of civil servants, and second is that happens only for initial 10 days. If you see those videos and reels in my phone, oh my god, I was the person in town. Everywhere cars are running like in 120 speed on the village roads. We are having swagat here, then we are going there for swagat, we are going there for swagat. Everywhere we are having this pagadi and all that, and everywhere we are reaching half an hour late. People are still waiting. Huh? When people are putting garland on you, you see them shaking. That is good for initial 15-20 days. After that, nobody cares. Now, I also travel in third AC. Earlier, I used to travel in sleeper. Now, I have upgraded. Then what? Still, I wear judio clothes. Nothing changes. You will still be that human only. And you will find a frustration after coming into the services because it bounds you. You can do so many things which I can't today as of now. So it restricts your freedom. What you are trying to convey, speak, debate, go out, enjoy yourself, dance, make a reel, make a whatever you want to do, everything is restricted that way. But yes, social prestige comes along. Apart from these things, if you have any purpose, that will take you a long way in preparation. So intrinsic motivation is the third virtue, I would say. But how will it come? You will have to find by yourself. Yesterday, I was with my friends to this street food wala area. Where was it? High tech city, na? So there, uh, there were people sitting on, sleeping on the benches and all. So And then there were people who were asking for food and things like that. That is a motivation to me. I have never given any money to anyone. I don't do that. But that is a motivation for me because I relate to that life. We were homeless, shelterless for 4 years in my childhood. So that is an intrinsic motivation that you want to give people in India a better life. So because that those fellows there, they were not even able to sleep till 12 at night because they were waiting for us to go. And next day they will have to wake up and they have no means, no ways to even use washrooms. There are no public toilets in India. Where will they have shower? Where they will use washroom and what they will eat and where they will sleep? No idea. Trust me, they are not doing it by choice. Yeah? So if there different things are there, you will have to find your own intrinsic motivation, what drives you, why you want to be a civil servant. Yeah? That is it. CSAT wala we could not address. It was supposed to be 1 hour session. It is already 2 hours. So let's not go beyond. Still, you can ask questions. I am open to questions. I don't mind. Whatever I have said will help you make a strategy, prepare well, be true to yourself, don't fool around, make good friends. These friendships will go a long way. And trust me, you will feel more happy. You will be happy when you get selected, but once your friend gets selected, you will be the happiest in.
So, hope you guys enjoyed today, and thank you so much, Pradeep sir, for giving this wonderful
Thank you, sir.
opportunity. From thank you so much from Amigos side and from the Amigos student side, and all the insights which you have taken. So, try to incorporate in your preparation. Make sure that, and he's very practical guy, and whatever the things which are going in your journey. Actually, I too has faced, but he is at the other side of the coin. So ultimately, so he proved it. And the thing is, like, whatever the three virtues he has mentioned, if you really like the last one, especially why you want to become a civil servant and all. So apart from the nibba nibbi thing and all, at least mature now, that why you want to become, be a civil servant and all. That should be like inner motivation. What he has said, like intrinsic motivation and all. That should be the right one you can pick. So at least from now onwards, whatever the insights he has provided and all, so try to incorporate in your preparation. Hope it is so thoughtful and so helpful for you. And thank you so much. And thank you so much, Pradeep sir.